Welcome everybody to Forgotten Genesis, session 96 of season 2. How's everybody feeling? How was everybody's week?
It's good. It's still busy. We're almost done with the stable.
Woo woo. Hell yeah. No.
Other than my neck hurting, I'm doing pretty good.
Fair enough. Does anybody want to message Brick? Most of my Discord functions are disabled because I have OBS open. Those are the wrong dice. We're looking for a roleplay question. Those are 2d20s. You need to be looking for d100s. There we go. I'm pretty sure I rolled 32 last. Yep, I did. Exactly last week.
I'm going to
56.
eat my food. You're going to let me eat. I'm going to play some D&D. I'm going to come back in here with my family.
Ah.
Are we talking to the
Ah. Yes. Mari is chasing me because I have chicken.
Vinestra said, "No dog will let one eat food unshared."
My dog
They're gonna
knows
have
better.
to all of my dogs know better. I only feed them when I feel like feeding them. That means after I've eaten, they can have a little sneaky snack of whatever's left over, usually. Pigs get whatever they want, period, at the end.
Okay, that is a fun little starting question. It's basic, but it's fun. And I know this one's probably been asked before, but we've had additional characters created, guest characters created, and various other things. Plus, it's good to have a refresher. So, first, the heavy thing. Let's go ahead and get the recaps out of the way. If Megan, you are
Sure.
otherwise occupied,
I'm
we
not
can
gonna-
start with Amber.
Yes, please. I'm letting you know. This is the recap. Angel did stuff last week. That's at that point where my brain is like that fumbly right now.
I understand. And someone else starting with the recap
we
might
not-
jumpstart some of those memories. So,
Okay.
Oh, I remember that my warlock is immune to nothing now, so we had to inoculate the shit out of him. Hey, Brick.
there he is.
Hey.
Right when I was about to send a brick emote.
I just got done shopping around for chairs. I didn't find one I liked.
Didn't find any chairs you liked?
No.
That's a shame.
Gaming chair.
Not even a gaming chair, just an office chair. Something that I can sit in for some hours and not hurt or sweat my ass off in.
What's the
I'll
price
probably
looking
not.
like now? Because I got this thing for $90, but then again, that was a long time ago.
What is it?
A non-specifically branded generic gaming chair
Heh.
that I got from American Furniture Warehouse.
Fine.
And again, it was like $90, I think, because again, it was generic as shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm feeling really picky on it. Like, I don't want any faux leather because that just starts to peel after a bit. Or if I do have faux leather, I want it to be a brand that I can buy replacement parts for.
Mm-hmm. So something more like a fabric covering then.
Yeah. And like, I want the armrests to be adjustable in certain ways, and
Yeah. I had to buy some removable covers for mine because of how much it was already kind of peeling. Then again, I've had it for years, so it was bound to start peeling at some point, but it was starting to leave like little track piles all over my room, and I was starting to get them out of my room, so.
yeah, this one, it's peeling a little bit on my right arm where my elbow digs in. And its pneumatics are broken, so it's stuck on the lowest setting.
Yeah. I need to retighten some of the screws on my arms here because they're jiggling like crazy. But, you know, that
I might ask.
was
I
bound
think
to
I'm
happen
gonna
at some
ask
point.
my dad to take me to like an office liquidation store to try some of the brands and chairs that I keep seeing, like a Herman Miller and Steelcase. And
Some of those might be reasonably decent, while not strictly gaming chairs. They are
yeah, that's
supposed to
what
be designed for extended use.
I keep looking on Reddit and everywhere, just trying to see what people suggest, and everyone is saying don't go for a gaming chair. They're overpriced for what they are, and I think I agree, having owned a gaming chair.
Yeah, they're aesthetic above functional, which is a shame. But
Yeah.
I wish you the best
And-
of luck in finding something that will better help your lower back. Speaking of which,
Prime-
today's session is sponsored by... No, I'm kidding. I wish.
The premium ones are like way out of what I'm willing to pay new, but they're like half of whatever they are new whenever you get them used. So
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
at this point, I'm willing to spend like $600 or $700 on it.
Hmm. Well, 6 or 7. Yeah, that's... It better be something that works for that kind of price.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Vinestra said, as Amber said, Piper's warlock has 0 immune system, so that was fun. We got prepared to visit the fire hag too, then be able to handle the time hag. V has a need for said time hags here. T, essence.
Correct. That's a solid recap. And then, of course, from Brick as well.
I mean,
I saved someone who contracted mind fire, and then I recalled some useful info on fire hags. You know, we talked about what metals we might use to prepare Aegis for the upcoming fight.
Yeah.
The leading contender is a Gildium alloy. Just kind of layered over it.
Which Vinestra did spend some time making more of in their pocket dimension.
Angel and Piper ask Orwayne and Ice Lady, whose name fucking disappeared from my brain, Grianne. Jesus.
There you go.
To fix to fix the ecosystem, essentially, all the fauna.
Yep.
Or the flora, not the fauna.
Correct.
We discovered Orwayne was apparently the Lady of the Lake originally, and had a temple and made a lake out of nothing, out of nowhere. And also we rode a magic stone boat.
Correct. Yeah. Orwayne is one of the few Fae among the current pantheon that are technically old enough to have multiple physical aspects that may exist in the world. Now, with that in mind, and with Orwayne being revealed to be at least one of his aspects being the Lady of the Lake, with that came up a whole forest behind the town of Arcala, some of it encroaching into it, though not encroaching upon any of the physical structures that were built there. With that, he did, provide you the opportunity to name this new forest reach on this frozen northern continent. And I believe that is effectively where we had ended off. Did you guys settle on a name that you liked in that interim week?
No, because we were gone for so long and we had Christmas.
True, that's fair. Also, haven't asked the roleplay question yet, so let's get to that. Move around. Unless there were any additional sort of recap bonuses you wanted to add there, Megan, that you could recall after some of that being brought up.
Angel's got ducklings right now. Angel's got duckling dragons right now.
Oh yeah, they all keep following tallest to shortest, and it's hilarious.
It was reemphasized that was a bit of a duckling trail going on with the dragonlings, wasn't it? Yeah. As if I'm gonna do anything with a bunch of children and a bunch of animal-like children, I might as well try to make it cute. Whether or not I succeed.
And they were trying to decide that we did try to have like what they were eating or how much they were struggling to communicate, and like some of those conversations they can actually transform. The one thing that they're being taught to is to actually polymorph early.
Yeah, some of them are learning to shift their physical bodies before they really fully comprehend language, which, to be fair, given that they're able to shift their physical forms, might be able to comprehend language through those vessels a little better.
We brought the white dragons back to life last episode.
Also,
yes, indeed.
Griffin made them non-preebies.
Correct as well.
Oh, we also Angel and Avery made the cure for, like, was it mind fire or something like that?
Mind fire. Yes.
Yep.
Isn't Angel supposed to have like a warlock or a cleric or something in-house at this point?
I believe so.
I know you were supposed to introduce one. I know it got like stepped over like 4 or 5 episodes ago, so they're still somewhere in the house.
Yeah. I see.
I know that one of them was attached to Avery, but I know that there were other ones that were not. They were all making a pilgrimage. You said that they were making a pilgrimage to the location of the castle, wherever that was.
Yeah. A number of them were... So actually, there were a number of clerics. A lot of them from the temple where Avery spent his initial childhood. As that was a child... that was a temple to Amora. Let me see here. Funny enough, I structured these pages to kind of keep myself organized, but then, in some characters deciding not to join in on the initial start of the season, it led to me crossing out big pages and then trying to adjust and try and use that room space for something. But, let's see.
Vinestra said, I believe the clerics wanted to set up a church and were handled.
Oh yeah, there was that. They did mention that there may be other temples that were going to start making their way over. It may not necessarily be a fast effort for some of them, as not all of them necessarily were of strong enough mental capability to teleport.
There should have been at least 1 or 2 to make it, because by this point, because we've been here for like a week.
Yeah, I believe there has been about a week of extended time past that point, hasn't there?
Yes,
travel takes a lot of time, though.
Yes, but when you have a silver tree, not necessarily if they're doing tree walking.
The silver woods don't operate with normal tree striding. That still took a little bit of specific care and learning for you and Piper and everybody to learn how to walk through. Let's see.
We have one child that's a walking tree.
We essentially made a waypoint system.
Eldoria, Lesser Priestess of Mora, was the main one that kind of came in and came by. Let's see.
Yeah, but there should have been at least one by at this point. But like, if we're talking about people who can actually use magic or clerical magic, there should have been some movement. A week is not long when you have magics or clerical abilities, and since Angel's been doing stuff, there should be a boost in energy.
Yeah, a boost in energy does not always mean a boost in bombing.
Vinestra said,
Yeah,
it
let's see
depends
here.
upon their level.
So
Yeah.
there was Eldoria, there was Corvus. Corvus had Pest, sorry. There's Mazalia Thin, who also showed up there as well.
Corvus is who?
Corvus Celian was the prior temple architect that had passed away just of natural causes and age. And then there was Popper Regulus Creth, the links to Baxi, who was still back at the temple, who they sent a message to, deliberately did not bring him along because he is particularly rambunctious, I believe. That was the note there. Which is to say, that's why he was a particularly useful popper. Because he was loud. And there's the page on the drainers. I think that covers that. I don't know why I left a whole couple of page gap between that set of notes. So that's just... We'll leave that for more temple notes, I guess. Not that easy. But I think at the moment, at least, the priestess that's still present would be... I mean, aside from the dwarves that wanted to make some new shit, but... Where the fuck did it go? You know, I have some post-it notes that have like little colored strips for me to be able to color code shit. I probably should use those on this.
Probably.
Just because I lose track of where the fuck I'm even going, even between two pages, which is just fantastic.
CP.
Well, don't sleep. You got work to do, and games to play, and food to eat.
Vinestra said, we got a fire hag to engage with.
That too. That too.
I am only going to be there for emotional support. Violet is pregnant. She might be staying out of this one.
Eldoria would be the main one there. That's still present. So, all the same, recaps are done. Everybody gets their inspiration die for that. Now for the question, which again, I think I've probably rolled this one before, but all the same, it's still worthy of asking again, just in the event of new characters that have rotated since the last time I rolled it, which I believe there have been. So, again, brownie points for answering in character. We'll go Angel and Violet, then go down the list. What is your character's greatest irrational fear?
We already know what Angels is.
The point is to answer.
Angel doesn't have an irrational fear. All of her fears are rational, usually.
She doesn't have an irrational fear? Nothing that even gives her like an irksome reaction?
Nothing gives... There's only things that give her the ick. Everybody has things that give them the ick.
Okay, then we'll say for Angel, the thing that gives her the strongest ick.
When you're expecting to taste one set of things, and then you can either taste burnt or something on top of it, layer like a thin layer, and it's like one of those slimy type layers. That's the ick.
So her irrational fear is unexpected slimy textures. We'll go with that.
No, not all slimy textures, just the ones that you put in your mouth.
Again, clarified, unexpected slimy textures. And we'll say ingested unexpected slimy textures.
That would probably be... Yeah, that's pretty
This
apt.
apple was supposed to be ripe, not sauced in the middle. No.
Greatest.
For Violet. Violet's greatest irrational fear.
I don't think Violet has one, Joe.
Is it a Bruce situation? What's fear?
But yeah, it's kind of that moment. Angel's also got that what's fear situation besides, like, all of their fears are rationalized. Like,
It's
Angel's
what keeps
afraid of
people
the guy
alive,
that
you
killed her
doofus.
dad.
Like, I can't
It's like,
think of anything for Avery either. Can we just get a new question?
Sure, I'll roll a new one.
So far, the only character that has one sounds like Piper with spiders, and the
Yeah,
reason
again,
why
the
it's
intention of these questions as well is like if your character does not currently have one because you hadn't thought about it during character creation, it's also an opportunity to
No.
create
Doesn't need
the
one.
character. All good.
Vinestra said, a phobia of spiders is rational though.
Depending on the spider,
So-
yes.
Australian
Yeah.
spiders, sure.
Yeah.
I've
For
definitely
Piper's
rolled that
Most
one
of the
before.
spiders you see around here, most of the house spiders you see around here are usually harmless.
speak for yourself. We live in the prime area of brown recluse and black widows.
And the ones that are dangerous, you usually know about.
I can't tell a brown recluse from a house spider.
Oh.
So,
Colorblindness.
we'll start with Angel then on this one. What unusual talents does your character possess? I'd say this is in the spirit of like being able to tie a cherry stem in a knot, touching your tongue to your nose, that kind of thing.
She can do almost anything with her hands that she can do with her feet.
Okay, incredibly dexterous feet. Along the lines of even being able to write with feet, then I would say, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more because of Urkbach.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough. And that qualifies. Moving that on to Violet.
I can touch my tongue with my nose.
When she's not
it a
in dog
10?
form?
Yes.
Okay, that qualifies. And then for Blue.
I'm going to give you the thing. I am pure talent. I'm a fae. I was born with moxie.
Okay. Then for clarification, something the Fae with inherent moxie wouldn't inherently be able to do.
Go drink your water then.
My water's in the kitchen.
And she is.
I'm highly industrious, but I'm never going to tell my husband that.
This is a question about party tricks, not a job interview.
Can't wait till I get the bruises.
Put it to you this way. I can put together pretty much anything that you can think of architecturally without actually seeing it from the inside.
Now I'm just imagining her recreating the Colosseum. Out of, like, popsicle sticks.
Toothpicks.
Or toothpicks. Does that mean she can make
Also-
the ship of Theseus?
Yeah. I consider that a talent.
Fair enough.
And I don't get sick on car rides. Whatever car rides are.
No car
Okay.
sickness, that's...
In other words, not prone to motion sickness. That works.
But
All
yeah,
right.
other characters.
You get your inspiration die for that.
Very much about-
On to Avery, then. What unusual
mean,
talent does
this
Avery
one's-
possess?
this one's kind of extra easy for Avery. We could do just full shapeshifting, but more so than that, for a party trick, voice imitation.
Angel also has voice imitation, but she doesn't. That's because she's what she does.
I mean, I could also be quote-unquote psychic.
I think half of us have been trained in that too, which is fun.
Like, I wouldn't even need my psionics. My charisma score alone would be able to convince people I was psychic.
I see your dead husband. He misses you.
Then I start it's like I start channeling channeling their dead husband's voice.
Oh God. Is Joe frozen?
No.
Oh, you were holding really still. Okay.
I did message and I wanted to know if Joe saw it.
I don't get sound notifications for any messages sent because I am currently streaming. Gotcha. Okay.
I just need a confirmation.
Sure. All right.
Thank you.
Moving on to unusual talents for Piper.
She could lick her elbow. Because I
Most
can lick
people
my
lick their
elbow.
elbows?
No!
I can lick my elbow.
Cool, good for you. It's
I
one
can
of
too.
those things that some people can, some people cannot.
Which would still qualify as an unusual talent. So it works.
And then Bruce's is he can catch his own tail. Most dogs can never catch their tail. He can.
Right on, right on. And then an unusual talent for Venestra.
Vinestra said, while not too unusual, Vi can shapeshift or you can take her being good at dancing.
Hey, I suck at dancing. Not everybody's good at dancing.
True. And arguably good at dancing can be attributed to a good dexterity score as much as it can be to a good charisma score. At least when relating it to D&D. But cool. All right. I think that covers everybody for recaps, and that covers everybody. For roleplay questions. So, Angel and Piper pulled up onto the lake from that stone boat.
No, we got back, and we were the last thing that happened was we were planning.
Correct. All right, let's get into it.
Vinestra said, planning and about to leave for the fire hag in that new area.
Yes, indeed, and I believe at that time Angel had already kind of made herself indisposed, so I don't know if Angel's currently indisposed for this yet or not. If she is, that's fine.
Or had just stepped through the portal.
Yeah.
I will be back. It's time to clean up for the girls.
Which leaves the only two able to plan to be Vinestra and Avery, then.
What's that?
As far as planning what to do and how to handle the fire hag, that leaves only really Vinestra and Avery available, since now Amber and Megan are both indisposed.
Okay. Sounds like all I have to do is just kind of mount the armor.
You are taking Violet's sister with you. And Violet will be there. I'm just going to be in the background, not as talkative as usual.
Understood.
Vinestra said, so just to clarify, are we in the new area, as I believe that's where it ended off?
No, I don't believe you guys had traveled yet. I don't believe, anyway. I believe you were about to, though. Right, yeah, no, you guys had just popped off and gone to Lilu. That's right. Okay. So... having just arrived in Lilu, back in that same sort of audience box that Blue previously had a teleportation circle too. That leaves you guys with a few options. You do need to make yourselves off to that southern island. You do need to go ahead and make for a ship and a crew selection to go ahead and make your way over there, or you could take a flight over there. You've got options. Although in terms of conserving energy, a ship would be most likely the better route. Which is to say, go ahead and change the music over to Coastal. There we go. All right. Trading the temperate, sort of coastally humid, cold, bone-biting air of the continent island of Kirin to suddenly the warm and plainly humid morning air of the archipelago of the Tolgalan Islands. It reaches some of you a little better prepared than others, trading that sort of bracing against the chill for a sudden, almost unwilling need to sweat. Still, while aromas are less potent in warm air than they are in cold, the immediate salty aroma of the sea does reach you from here, as well as more sort of floral fumes kind of beginning to reach and breach into each of your minds. With that, you look around to the sort of familiar interior, well lit as it is, as already service staff being noticed and being notified of the teleporting arrival of a collection of individuals begin to make their way in, cautious at first, though their faces softening and their caution lessening as they catch a few recognized faces, even just from the last few days. So, members of Zavorcizor, what would you like to do here first?
Riley's just gonna follow her sister wherever the hag is supposed to go. They're gonna follow Vinestra.
Yes, indeed.
Vinestra said, V and Amira are going to go look to acquire some ships and crew too. Crew such.
All right. For acquiring that on the island of Lilu, it is definitely one of the more commerce and trade-driven islands among the archipelago. So finding and putting together an appropriate crew should be viable and should be a decent option. As far as asking around to go ahead and see what kinds of people might be looking to either be hired on or anything like that, go ahead and give me a charisma check, just generally, as you kind of make your way, of course, out of the viewing boxes of the big red ship and make your way down to go ahead and see about procuring some deckhands.
Vinestra said, 27.
As a flat charisma check?
Yep.
My goodness. All right. Okay. Let's see here. You have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm going to roll a d6 with that to go ahead and see how many options you have available. Okay. There we go. All right. You have currently at port a number of about 5 ships that seem to be ready and willing to be hired on for whatever job kind of seems plain and in front of them. First of all, you have a reinforced longship by the name of the Osprey. You have the Tiny Beetle, which is a sort of downtrodden ship covered in heaps and heaps of dirt and dried mud, but from what you can tell along its hull, there are a number of also runes sort of carved into its woodwork. There is the Fildo's Scream, which is this sort of very sleek, very speed-oriented boat, though not as heavily sort of crewed or drawn as a number of the others. There is the Kraken, which is a somewhat larger, looks to be almost somewhere between a sleuth and a galleon in its relative size, and it does seem to be staffed by a number of fairly rough and tumble, it seems very sort of sea-wearied individuals. And then finally, there is a ship known simply named Pioneer, roughly painted on its side. Seems to be the somewhat rickety outrigger, but it is decorated fairly heavily with a number of ribbons just all across its form, of which one of the only people that you can clearly see walking along its surface, though you can hear activity below deck, seems to be this woman in a very sort of heavily ribboned, very brightly colored, looks like almost ball gown, seeming markedly out of place amongst the rest of this dock.
Vinestra said, "Did the others come with Vey and Amira?"
I would assume so, as kind of getting a crew and getting a ship was the main objective of coming here initially. Which means at the very least Avery has accompanied you. I'm assuming that also Violet largely has in tow, as well as I believe Piper did come as well. Either that or Bruce did. I don't recall.
Vinestra said, "So any preferences in ships you lot?"
Something big enough to fit all of us comfortably. Aside from that, I don't really care. I'm not the one who will be...
Not specifically, I don't have any choice.
Notably also with the ship, the Tiny Beetle, it seems to be, at least on passing glance, manned, from what you can tell, by hill gnomes, which also further lends to its name being the Tiny Beetle. Seems to be this very sort of stout, kind of short-driven ship. That said, likely based on its size alone, it's probably a fast little fucker. And so I'm going to go ahead and go over my notes here to go ahead and go over some more specific things about each ship, and I'll go over that based off of who you kind of want to talk to first, because your preferences may alter based on what the benefits of each ship are. So.
So I sent you my picture. Those are done.
Understood.
Vinestra said, "Vay would like a large enough ship for someone of her size."
Alrighty. Let's see. Of ships that would be just on first observation be likely large enough, there the Osprey, being a reinforced longship, most likely at least has to some degree size enough for you, though crouching through much of it. There's definitely more horizontal space than there would be vertical in that ship. Notably as well, the Fildo's Scream is a sleek boat, though from what you notice, despite its sort of sleekness, it does seem to have a general kind of height to its build. It seems like more than half of it is dipped kind of beneath the waves, even from this range. Though a lot of that seems to be readily present for the hull. Even based on where you can see portholes along it, it would suggest that most of who crew the ship are taller than at least normal folk. Then there's the Kraken, which of course being sort of between a sleuth and a galleon, naturally by construction alone, even by human standards, it'll be a relatively large ship. And then of course the Pioneer being an outrigger, while not traditionally large, outriggers are known for having a lot of additional capacity, at least in this sort of stance. Well, which is to say, an outrigger for the most part is a float. That said, this is still reinforced in a lot of parts by a lot of sails and things like that. So while not traditional holdings for like quarters would likely be on that thing, I mean, you imagine reinforced tent work and whatnot would be fairly reasonable. Of all of them, like if you were to be caught in the middle of a fight, the outrigger would be best in terms of at least your means of moving around. But again, probably not the most stable ship for long voyages. And that is to say moving around on deck, not necessarily the maneuverability of the ship itself. And again, in terms of at least more details, it'll be a matter of which sort of ship you want to address or talk to first, if there's any that you want to immediately kind of cross off that list anyway.
Right, I'm locked in now. Sorry.
It's all good.
Vinestra said, "Vise would go to check the one that looks like it would be the safest for long travels and provide height room too."
Okay. Safest for long travels by all stretches would be probably the reinforced longship. It won't provide as much height room as a couple of the others. The one that by a long shot would likely provide the most height room, even just from looking at it from the outside, would most likely be the Fildo's Scream. And it is sleeker, which means probably better for speed, even at that relative size. Its reinforcements are not as strong, though.
expecting to run into combat.
It's always a possibility.
Vinistra said, "It's D&D."
Fair.
Depending on how you guys roll when I ask you to, there's a chance you might not. There's also a chance you might.
Vi's heading to the Osprey. Also, doesn't Piper have a ship?
She does. It is designed mostly to operate within the realm of dreams, however. Okay. All right. On approaching the Osprey, notably as you approach, you begin to notice a lot more sort of cloud iconography very carefully painted in the siding and the wood, which you initially kind of thought with its sort of grayed tone was weathering or indications like that, only to note that it's very specifically, very carefully, and very painstakingly and durably lacquered on. It's a paint job across its back, and along with that, inlaid into and along the rivets, you can see in equal parts sort of common script as well as elven and little tidbits of celestial. The tidbits of celestial seem to be minor, sectioned, and very kind of segmented and formatted, almost like you're looking at epitaphs, or what's the word I'm looking for? They're structured like psalms in a holy book, which is to say also kind of in approaching, you do notice a lot of the people that are crewing the Osprey in particular, while for the most part a collection of elves, men, a couple of dwarves here and there, as well as notably a couple of Aarakocra, all of them seem to be in sort of similar uniforms, similar vestments. Most all of it seeming to be sort of very sort of heavy kind of fishnetting and a lot of copper and a lot of kind of gray tone to a lot of their hair, whether natural or dyed or otherwise. One which does still seem to be a lot more well enrobed for seaworthiness, including kind of a bandolier, hat work, and even just sort of a normal sun cover over his face intermingled with that outfit, does kind of take notice of the rather large dragon woman approaching the boat, and does, with a certain sailor swagger, kind of immediately dive his way down the rope to land upon the deck and address you. Looking up, he does seem to get close to almost matching your height, and he seems to have this almost silver tone to what appear to be scales across his form, a silver dragonborn. Underneath all of these vestments and all of this gear very much, even as his face is still mostly covered. Vilmet, how can I help you? Are you looking to book our services? Or are you perhaps here looking for the good word of Mervis?
We want a boat. And hopefully someone to drive one.
His head tilts down slowly into your direction, Avery. I had barely noticed you were there. Your presence is a little less grandiose than your Draconoid companion here. But you are looking to hire on a boat.
Correct. We are going to... Where are we going?
a sort of southernmost kind of rocky outcropping from the Tolgolan Islands, not necessarily unknown to be an inhabited island, and definitely a sketchier place to reach even just by itself.
We are trying to get to a outcropping near the Tolgolan Islands.
Well, you are in the Tolgolan Islands. You are here on the island of Lilu within its grouping.
I'm so confused.
You guys at the end of last session had gone through a teleportation circle to get to the fighting arena known as the Big Red Ship, which was on the island of Lilu in the Tolgolan Islands, as it also gone through and described a little more in depth when the session began.
And we're trying to get to where?
A sort of uninhabited rocky island at sort of the southern edge of the Tolgolan Islands. It'll be a few good miles down, winding through the archipelago to get down there.
Got it. We need a pretty significantly maneuverable boat that can hold 10 people? Is my mathing right? Something like that.
10 people. Are they all mostly comparable to your size? Or comparable to hers? As he again kind of returns his gaze back to eye contact with Nestra.
Everything in between.
Well, we do have, to an extent, accommodations. We are all mostly...
Sister is with you. Sister is also there.
There's that as well, which would bring you guys, I believe, to roughly 10.
She's gonna look over at this man. Violet is. I'm here for emotional support.
I see. Well, to what intention might you have for going down to the southern edges of the archipelago?
Killing a fire hag.
Hunting hags? Interesting.
One hag. One.
Killing a hag?
Either that or talking to her. We kind of need the fire. Not necessarily. We don't have to kill her.
Killing or talking. I see. Well, if it wasn't plainly obvious, we are a priesthood of the great dragon god Merphis. All of our arrangements for quartering are individualized rooms as per following one of the tenets of Merphis, the hermit god. But with that in mind, with the particular exception of ferrying a number of, well, compensating individuals, we can, for a time, violate that tenant and share rooms with one another to provide appropriate lodging for the lot.
Maybe you should do it considering what I look like. He basically is like completely amethyst haired and just like looking at him like,
I appreciate the implication. Your being descendant or attached to crystalline dragons alone does not grant you weight on its own. Nor would it grant you...
What if I've met Merphis? What if we're friends?
A great many in
we're
times of
friends.
loneliness have met Merphis. That said, of course, with natural and appropriate compensation, as we would not normally go by that route. You can absolutely grant passage through our ship and through our lodgings. Notably, though, we are, by and large, a priesthood at sea, and so we are not provided the normal sort of defensibility, such as ballistas or the occasional cannon along our ships. For the more combatively faithful among us do provide defenses in that means, should it be necessary, though we do choose much of the time to abstain from it. Unless, of course, it is midday. There are a number of aggressive tenants.
she looks over, she goes, "You're funny, man."
I try. One must be jovial when some of the other faithful are preoccupied with things like scurvy.
Orange juice. Orange juice so scurvy.
orange juice and healing magic. There is a reason we are in port here in Lilu. Citrus is quite useful.
She looks over at Halcyon at this point. She's like, man, think I'm shop leather. That's what he's thinking, right? He doesn't know that my patron is technically Meripus, right?
No, I think he's being polite. I don't think he's being dismissive necessarily.
You need lodging, is how much you need for it. We can kind of handle ourselves.
That is good, in case we are, well, confronted along this route that you wish to go along.
Confronted by what?
There are any number of things at sea, and in the Torgalan Islands, not all of the islands are fully scouted nor inhabited, particularly for some of the smaller outcroppings, like the one in which you choose to reach. There can be territorial things there. Or opportunistic people with vessels of their own, who might presume to think that a boat of priests carry a lot of, let's say, precious metals, even if they are simply objects of prayer.
This boat will be staffed with gods and ultimate tier adventurers that probably not have any trouble fighting off a band of pirates.
You're not wrong.
Well done and understood. Understand, though, that one thing that we cannot necessarily provide concessions about, there are going to be 3 occurrences a day during which the dock and much below deck might be, let's say, infumed with incense and other smoke-producing materials in the name of our rituals and regular prayers, let's say.
I don't know if necessarily Meripus likes smoke. He does like smoking weed quite a bit.
Then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have my own blunts from him. Where's that blunt? She looks over at Halcyon. Where did we put the godweed?
Basically, plainly put, he's saying that they will be hotboxing the ship 3 times a day.
Good
Yes,
thing we
but you
have
don't get. But you're not. But they're not hotboxing it with the good shit. She pulls out the godweed out of her pocket.
Do you
good
want
shit.
them to still be able to navigate and sail?
Yeah. So she's like, this is the good shit.
Don't give them the godweed if you want us to get to our destination.
Well, it could be their payment, considering it would be an honor to their god.
Then they get their... In this case, they would get their payment after we got to our destination.
That's right. It's mine. Why take it from me?
Under the presumption that the venture may prove fruitless out of just an act of fate, or any other inherent hazards or dangers, we do require a level of payment up front. Gemstones would be preferable.
What kind of gemstones?
Any of precious nature that you do have. Which is to say, they're asking basically for 500 gold worth of pick your gem per person.
Violet's going to take out her magical comb because she has one. When her hair gets too short, she's going to comb out her hair for about 500 gold pieces worth and cuts her.
Now again, this ship is option 1 out of 5.
Well, I have a question. Can I roll insight on these people?
What are you trying to potentially infer?
if they're actually Merphis' followers or if there's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, okay, trying to sniff out a bunch of con artists. Go for it, by all means.
It just sounds like another reason to get high. With a 19 plus 16.
These people seem a little up to snuff, maybe a little less socially refined than maybe they were when they started. To a number of the people even moving across the deck, there seems to be a little bit of, let's just say, extended sunlight and saltwater-induced declines in sanity. But for the most part, these do seem to be up to snuff, normal priesthood vestments, and legitimately devout people. Though again, at least in terms of accommodations, the Osprey would be one of the ones for especially the taller folk. You'd probably have to crouch down a little bit. Given that this is more so a reinforced longship than anything else. Of the ones that are seemingly built to be almost militarily prepared, this would be the one out of the group.
Fine, we will take this ship. What do you think, Vanestra? I think it's a good idea, but she cuts her hair at the perfect 500 gold pieces worth.
Yeah, which I also will say in addition with that insight, the militaristic sort of preparation of the ship, being manned unweaponized by a bunch of priests, does strike you as an interesting combination.
I'm a tank. Doesn't surprise me. Merphis made my character a tank.
Vinestra said, I can tolerate dipping my head down.
Okay. So, are you all settled on settling for the first ship? Or are there options with the others you would like to explore?
What other ships are there? I'm letting you know, Violet's gonna do a scan. Halcyon has a knowledge of some of this stuff, considering he lives in Somerville.
Yeah. To which Halcyon does light up. Seeing the ship is again with the high concentration of elves, and the heavy sort of inlaying of Elven along with some of the other text on the ship. This is most likely a ship from the west coast of Somerville that's made its way over here. But...
Okay.
Otherwise, again, there is the Tiny Beetle. It is manned entirely by hill gnomes. It is crusted and caked with hardened and dried dirt, but there is a number, there are throughout its sort of beaten and withered surface, a number of present runes of various different sort of enchanted languages.
Did it smell foreign to Violet?
Like otherworldly foreign? The ship itself and the people on it? No.
Does anything smell otherworldly foreign from out of the ships that are out there? Is an option.
I will say not of the Tiny Beetle. Next up, at least as far as other ships, this one seemingly providing the most strict verticality, is the Fildo's Screen. As it seems like, especially the positioning of its portholes along this fairly sleek and speed-built boat, the positioning of its portholes is really vertically separated in its different stages, and it seems to be dipping pretty far below the waves. With that in mind, it could mean that either there's only portholes like every 2 floors, or the floors are just that tall. And particularly in listening toward movement in that boat, it's a lot of really heavy thuds from what you can hear.
There's something big in that one.
Then there's the Kraken. This ship looks ramshackle and patchwork, like it's been, you can see bits of where the original ship was and where it's been pretty consistently repaired over time. This one is pretty heavily armed with ballistas, with, it seems like, rudimentary basic cannons that to a certain degree are magically charged. The sails have been repaired, you don't know how many times, to where it looks like almost it's a windbound quilt at this point. Though notably, any sort of significance or signs of any flag work that are present on the other ships, it is completely absent from hanging above the crow's nest on this one.
There were 3 like that in my actual story, so I'm trying to not.
And of the crew there, you can see a lot of them are very sort of sea-wearied, beaten. It is a hodgepodge, motley crew mix of people. None of them seem to have any sort of consistent or organized theming other than they are all sea-wearied, but to that end look for particularly well experienced. Then finally, there's the ship, the only one that does not have a title of "the" on it, and it is simply called Pioneer. It is a somewhat rickety looking, but heavily decorated with ribbons, kind of outrigger, or basically ferry, or basically ferry boat. Not ferry as in ferries, but, big, wide, kind of meant to and designed to travel with people on it kind of boat. And the only person present there who seems to be captaining it seems to be this very well-refined looking human or elven woman. You can't really tell from this distance, but she seems to be wearing a full-on ball gown with just as heavily ribboned attire across her body as well. And it seems like, at least from the amounts of canvassing across the boat as well as pole work, any sort of quartering that would be provided here would be in the form of tents that would be posted up upon the boat rather than anything actually below deck. To that end as well, should you guys get into a fight where you need to move around on foot, that would be the best one, as it's basically an arena on the waves. But as far as its defensibility, the weakest one of the lot, and it is definitely the strongest oddity here, aside from the dirt-covered tiny beetle.
Violet's gonna approach the one with the big thuddy noises inside of it first, and then gonna go to talk to the feathery person, because she looks over Avery. I know we probably gonna take the elves, but I want to talk to these very flamboyant people because I get to know people. That's what I want to do.
Okay, so you're
Also,
approaching...
Along for the ride as per usual. Do what you want to do.
Okay, so you want to approach the Fildo's Scream, the one with the heavy thudding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fantastic. Approaching the boat, you notice that, again, there's nobody seemingly present on deck or that have made themselves yet known. Though it does seem to be active, does seem to be heavily anchored. Notably, the chain itself does not seem in line with most normal ships and ship architecture that you would see. It seems more of a mass end size that you would see on like a shipping vessel from our day and age, where the chain links are fucking massive.
I wonder if they're... Because basically, she climbs up them, considering what the size they are, and gets onto the ship, and she's going to see where this captain is.
Okay. The thud of your feet upon the deck, while you are still massive in size, seems minor.
I'm not big.
Okay, well, the thud of your feet seem like dropping a coin on a tile floor compared to the heavy thudding that you're hearing below deck. Though, notably, as it does so, all of the thudding and the rocking that you can now feel with the almost waving through the ship falls silent. Until slowly, a series of steps that feel like they're heavier and approaching closer and approaching with some verticality rock the ship with each step, before poking and pushing his head above deck, wearing full captain's vestments straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean, though notably even the hat seems like it could cover your whole body. A storm giant. Standing dozens of feet, taller than yourself.
Glory be, you're the tallest man I've ever seen.
You do know there are bells you can ring attached to the docks.
I didn't see the bell. I'm a little. These chain links look like they're from a different time period.
They are. A number of things from ships of our size have to be salvaged from that which is sunken below.
Do you know of the deep, then?
Whatever do you mean?
The deep. The great god that lives in the deep.
There are a number of forgotten things down below that grant great deals of forbidden power. That sounds like one of many.
See many. Very loud. Me?
Even in the subdued voice that he is addressing you with, it is that sort of soft infrasound rumble of thunder that's sort of coming in, even reverberating across the deck as it does. There is a degree of sort of his Storm Giant's nature that just comes out even with each breath.
We are trying to kill Fire Hag. I'm wondering if you would take us by that island. By any chance? I'm kind of shopping around for a ship just to take me down there.
Kill a fire hag.
Or talk to them. We need their
Vinistra
fires.
said, "Is this the giant Vey fort?"
There are some familiarities to the sort of scarring on his form.
Good.
I just wanted to ask because we need the fire from Fire Hag to fight a time hag.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
And if you
One
were
that
to
decided to
commission
make-
a ship of giants, what would you deign to pay us with?
A whispering coin?
For all its value, our worth is better
For all
served
its
in
value.
bartering.
Hold on. She goes through her bag. Do you want the glass of a glass hag? Do you want the body of a glass hag? Do you want... Do you want a dragon haunch? I have a dragon haunch, a white one from somewhere back in something. I have white dragon skin. I have red dragon skin. I have... I have 16 months worth of purple worm meat somewhere in this bag. This cold bag that I have here.
Something a little more permanent, perhaps, than something edible.
Permanent. Somewhere in here. She like she puts her head down in her back. There's a big old dog now. Into the back. Smelling. Or she pulls out what is the statue of a it was one of the ones we got in the abyss that was cleaned off. Sort of the metal brass statues from our
Okay.
world. She decided to pick up. This look more permanent. It's kind of cool looking. I picked it up when we were in the abyss, and we got it cleaned off.
That
And
might be something I can work with. How many
Good
of
to
you
know.
would we be bringing?
just us and some other folks.
Jeff, I think you want something a little more specific.
Well, I
Give him a
don't
ballpark.
necessarily. I mean, I know that Angel's supposed to be showing up at some point. She'll be showing up later. She'll be using the Fae phone.
How many of you will we be bringing?
Piper, me, my sister, Halcyon, Sinestra, Amira. How many is that?
You just listed 6.
Thank
There's
you.
Avery. You didn't list Avery.
And there's Avery. And I don't know if Aiko came with us. Yeah, we put Piper in that.
Yeah, Aiko and Aegis counts as a person. He'd be about human sized because I'd shrink him down.
So that's 8. I'd say about
9.
10, sir.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's what
count-
we were
I'm gonna
working
count
with
Angel
before
and-
with the last ship was 10.
10. Any of them comparable to our size? Didn't catch
You
it.
lost your
But that's all I've got. I can go to 10 feet, but I don't know if I can go any further.
That barely comes up to my knees. So no.
I can get bigger. How big? She looks over Halcyon. How big is the dragon form? For how big I got last time.
It's not that big.
Good.
Chagra, I think, could retrofit her dollhouse for your lot.
I
2
don't
storm
really
giants
like
on my.
how condescending you're sounding towards us right now.
Not intentionally. It's
It
one of the
was
few things that might have furniture that actually fits all of you.
There are 2 storm giants in the northern area. If I can't convince you to take us along, could I convince you to go pick them up so they would be with their families and homes and stuff?
Where are they located?
In Kirin.
It'll be a long ways out, but we could make a note of it.
Would you need another relic or payment? Because they would need payment, right?
That'll be on them to provide should they want to board.
She pulls it. She goes into her bag. What about this giant anchor that I found? I found 2 of these things.
That's you providing additional payment yourself.
It's less because I would prefer them to actually be able to get home. You're helping a planetar learn how to walk right now. But I would prefer them to some help going home.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least to be able to make a port or something in Kirin. And we would like to offer you safe passage there. If that's all right.
It's an option. Noticed you all talking with some other anchored vessels. Should you settle on us,
Yes.
we will be here until about the break of dusk. Takes a lot of resupplying for folk our size.
Would you like some white dragon meat?
As long as it's not part of your payment.
No,
Sure.
I just need to get rid of I need space in here because I need to get rid of some purple worm meat and some dragon meat. I've got 16 months worth in here from the last we did.
16 months for someone your size. It goes for a couple of weeks for someone like us.
Yeah, but it's a couple of weeks divided. I mean, but the haunch is really big. She pulls out the haunch and it's huge, humongous, like all that carving that we had from that large tilt dragon.
If you need to get rid of it, we wouldn't be opposed to taking it off of your hands.
Oh, right, that would be
Might
great.
save us the trouble of putting a bunch of small folk in a dollhouse on the menu. He says with a cracked, sarcastic smile on his face.
I got that.
He's got jokes. He's got jokes. So I'm gonna go talk to that. I know. I like your jokes, funny man.
So,
She pops out the boat. We will be back. I'm gonna give you some information. And see, because like we're gonna go talk to that elf lady. But it's like I have to talk to all the interesting people here.
So, two viable options have been explored so far. The Osprey with the priesthoods, their priesthood being the means by which they're going to defend the damn thing, and they will be surrendering some of their own quarters for your group should you go with them. Their price would be gemstones of 500 value per head, roughly. The other option is the Fildo's Scream, manned entirely, it seems like, by storm giants, or at least giants of various kinds, and you would be shacked up in what was referred to as Shagra's dollhouse, which would have suitable lodgings for the lot of you. And it's going to be defended by the fact that it's manned by fucking giants.
And Violet's going to this last elf lady with his ribbons on her body. I'm the brilliant woman I've ever seen in my life, and I need to meet her.
Okay. Thus far, bypassing the Kraken and bypassing the tiny beetle, going straight to Pioneer.
We will come back to the Kraken. There is a plan for the Kraken. I'm letting you know the fact that it doesn't have a banner is a thing.
So, venturing to the Pioneer, same lady who's been on there the whole time is still there, mostly just looking out and around and kind of at the pier, basically. Normally, figure someone like this would have left their vessel to go ahead and go resupply if they needed to. Then again, like, this thing doesn't seem to have below deck or any additional crew, so she may have to stick to her ship for fear of it being taken. That's it. You approach her keenly and kindly enough. As you approach her, you notice there is a certain prismatic quality to her skin depending on the lighting. Where as you approach strongly and more keenly, you notice this is certainly an elf. This is in fact an astral elf.
Related, apparently. That's nice.
Of all the exotic.
My grandmother is an astral elf.
Means you may be related. You may not be, though.
That'd be great. Does she smell familiar?
Not in the slightest.
You look
Matter of fact,
very
she smells almost a level of lung rejection, level of heavy perfumes.
She hasn't had a bath in a while, has she?
That could be. Or it could be that she likes perfume that much.
Violet's gonna get on there, and then there's a point where the dog nose is gonna like try to like revolt against her. She's gonna like,
well, hello there.
you have a very strong smell.
That I do. Keeps away some of the more predatory riffraff.
Do you not have a crew?
I find myself not needing one.
Do you also not need anyone to help you man the ship or keep the ship afloat?
Oh, certainly not. On occasion, I'll have to come ashore to go ahead and redecorate the pretty thing. But I have my means of keeping it afloat for whatever guests may walk across its stretches.
Sounds Can I insight check? This sounds like a spider waiting
by
to happen.
all fucking means, yeah.
Sounds like a spider, Joe. It sounds like a spider. This is a spider, Joe. This is like an astral spider. There are literal astral spiders in that book. They've natural fucking 20.
Natural 20. It is incredibly subtle. Any sort of kind of blemish or break or seeming like edge of damage upon this boat, where it seems like really well taken care of, really well kept away from damage and really well polished, where you can see slight cracks and scratches. You notice they are incredibly subtle bits of rune work. All of them in sort of common arcane script. And especially being this close to her, you realize that heavy, almost noxious amount of perfume is hiding the smell of rot. As you realize the sort of sleekness to her features are
Is
more
this a
so
lich?
gauntness enrobed by makeup.
Is this a lich, Joe? Is this a lich?
This is a remarkably overdressed lich. Or vampiress, or high-powered undead of some form or fashion. The precise nature of her undeath you will not be able to tell without a proper arcana check. But
yes.
she is notably covering up a decent bit of decay and seems incredibly confident and incredibly comfortable in direct sunlight.
That is a natural 20 again. With the tiger's eye die.
Natural 20.
And sweet.
There's something about the floatiness of the ribbons and how well they catch and how well they draw in. Even the brightness and sheen to her smile. She's a ghost.
It's a revenant?
No. Revenants still have physical bodies. What you are addressing does not. The entirety of this outrigger is seemingly a possessed seaworthy structure. Whether you are addressing a haunted former captain or a haunted ship that has been granted some level of personality, you're unsure which. But what is here before you is a ghost.
You are so interesting. I have so many questions.
And the more you kind of grow to understand it, the more the hairs on your back stand on end, just because of the unanswered questions that it introduces. And again, she mans a boat that is expressly designed for transporting people. So there is that part of it that's also
Terrifying. Do you also sail the stars?
What kind of clientele? Like, transporting slaves is different from transporting rich people. Like,
this is an outrigger, which means it's sort of an exposed, like, gigantically oversized raft. So something like that would not really be used for slave transport. This would be something that would usually be used for like sightseeing along like calm currents and that kind of shit, for like long extended like cruises along those kinds of climates. This thing is anchored on a seaport.
Don't liches usually like devour your soul or something like that? God bless you.
Liches normally, yes, will devour souls to continue their extended unlife. There are some positive natured liches which will find other means of prolonging themselves. That's under the presumption that she is that, but again, this is more so she is not a lich. She is a particularly potent form of ghost.
My back.
Welcome back.
So,
Getting them now.
okay, you're gonna have to, Amber, I'll catch you up in a minute. I'm in the middle of a discussion. Hold on.
I don't
Which is to
think
say, should you want to risk commissioning this boat, your lodgings would be provided in whatever tents you brought with you, bound to the post slots along, of course, the outrigger, in which case it would be almost somewhat exposed to a degree. But then the ready level of confidence this woman displays might answer the defensibility, whatever concerning question that raises. This very much seems like you'd be commissioning the Victorian candy shop version of the ferryman. If you had to guess at a possible option for what this might look like if it goes well.
Oh, interesting.
What's interesting, dearie?
Name? Can I get your name by chance?
Pioneer, dearie.
Is your name? Or is that the ship's name?
Whichever it need be for now.
Do you sail the stars?
No, dearie.
Why do you sound like Mrs. There's like a moment I was like, why does he sound like Mrs. Doubtfire? My brain.
No, dearie, I don't sail the stars.
Do you mind if I shop around? Because I would like to possibly ask you to house us on a journey.
Oh, certainly. Though I must say, if you feel inclined for a longer journey, I suggest you go buy and some of your own tents. I have none to provide.
Oh, we've got tents. She's going to walk back to the Kraken. I am curious. Violet's like, we're shopping right now. Shopping for a ship. Violet's like, I'm going to be quiet the rest of the trip, so I'm going to enjoy my...
Okay. By far leaving behind what would likely be the most exposed option for travel in Pioneer, assuming that it could even get you that far, as you never really discussed that part of it, beyond approaching and being curious as to what the hell its deal was. You approach the Kraken.
Floating glitch. Just a floating glitch. Sorry, it's hilarious. She just walks, she's gonna ring the bell.
All right.
She's gonna try to find the bell this time.
As you ring the bell, a number of crew make their way over. One of them immediately just hurling over the side of the boat, just barely missing halfway along the dock and where it meets into the ocean, half of it kind of splattering as it goes. And then one such individual, seemingly with a little bit level more command and a little bit better put togetherness, makes his way down, his clothing and attire about as patchwork as everything else on the ship. It seems like a shirt that's been stitched together with another shirt, a jacket that has seen better days decades ago, and various bits of mismatched jewelry, a beard that is about as sun-bleached as the rest of his hair, and a hat trying to cover what's left of it, as it seems to have fallen out through stress, through battle, through age. You're not sure what, as what comes down looks to be this wizened, beaten, almost prospector degree looking human man missing a good chunk of his teeth, and then mostly filled in with silver, gold, and in some cases, very badly patinaed copper replacements.
Oh my god.
Well, hello there, darling. How are you doing?
She puts her head in Halcyon's shoulder. Try not to laugh. I'm gonna try not to
It's
laugh.
been a right minute since I seen a snow elf in these parts.
Do you have a captain, sir?
She been looking at him.
Why do you look so frazzled? Just not have enough money to go and actually repair your thing.
Frazzle, this is about as good looking as I get. These copper teeth are fresh. They don't look it.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
His version of fresh might be behind by a few months.
Why is your ship called the Kraken?
Well, because it tends to drag down any other vessels that get a little too close. Even if only by appearance alone.
What are you, Davy Jones?
Not quite, but to that
man.
end, I mean, honestly, we're considered a bit of a bad omen when confronted by passers-by. We're seen as a bit of a sign of bad luck and a good right. Though our luck isn't as bad as it seems.
Man,
Can you what?
terrifying. Can I roll insight, please? Terrifying. If I was one out of the group, what have you done?
Insight for what in particular?
I want to know what this thing is. So I want to know nature. So I want to do a nature check. I do want to do an insight to see how the hell this ship is surviving. Because it shouldn't.
Sure.
It shouldn't.
This thing looks like it's ready to fall apart, and yet it's floating just fine, like without any sort of seemingly level of instability.
For the inside, I got an 18. 18 plus 16 equals whatever.
Okay, 34.
And then for
Or 30, yeah,
the
34.
secondary number, I got a natural 20. I'm going to get a 1 at one point during this game.
Okay, we'll start with nature. This man is human. Normal human being. Though, despite how weathered and beaten he looks, and by all rights from like a not so keen observer would look like a man in his 50s, he's maybe in his early 30s. And is just that
God,
beaten to shit. Now, as far as insight, even just a passive look into his eyes, there is an edge of sanity lost in the waves, even just from the twitch of his eyelids looking at you. Where for all intents and purposes, his brain is about as mixed up as his clothes and his ship alike, not to mention the men here as well.
There's not a sane one among them, is what you're telling me.
No. What benefit that might provide you in terms of lodging and in terms of defensibility, you don't know. You haven't asked any questions prudent to that yet, though.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
No, not him.
Ah,
To the DM.
ahead.
Knowing what she knows from traveling to Lilu with Blue, there are protocols for when people have gone insane and need to be taken off the ship so they can wisen up again. There are protocols for this so they don't go out to sea and then cause another shipwreck.
Usually when there's a degree of insanity meant to where they appear to be a danger to other people, these guys seem to be keeping to themselves. And otherwise, for those that are venturing out and venturing back with supplies, they seem notably perfectly stable and perfectly fine until they get within about 10 feet of the fucking boat, and then seemingly loosen up worse than a fucking slinky made of elastic.
Sir, if I give you 100 gold to go inshore and have yourself a rest. Would you?
It would get me some better teeth. But certainly not. You see, I'm the captain. I've got to stick with the boat.
No, sir, you don't.
I mean, you
That's
don't
what they have.
really have to.
That's why they have armed guards. She looks over at the armed guards. Looked over the armed guards. That's why they have them.
My second mate is far less trustworthy at the helm, and he might just drive through the dock. I gotta stick with the boat.
I'll give each one of your members 100 gold too if they get off the boat.
Most of them wouldn't know what to do with it. They can all barely count.
That's my point, sir.
And it is pointed just like your ears.
There is a sanity bell. Can I roll this? Can I pull the sanity bell? Because there's a sanity bell when you find people like this shit on this.
Funny enough, it's right next to the notification bell. When someone comes in and pulls an anchor.
I'm going to reach up with my big furry tail and pull the sanity bell.
As you pull and ring it, there is no resonance coming from that bell in the slightest.
Fucking what?
That is not how this works. That is not how this works.
What might you be ringing that for? We're just here to resupply.
You've lost your mind,
wait.
sir.
Wait,
Never had it.
okay. Would Angel know the sanity bell?
It's not Angel. This is Violet.
Violet.
This is Violet knowing that their sanity is gone.
We're a bunch of wily sea dogs, and we're here just minding our business. We're being plenty polite in the town.
I have a thought process. Would Violet know what the sanity bell sounds like? Okay, minor illusion does sounds, yes?
Yes.
Can she shoot that sound Avery real quick to make the sanity bell sound so people come?
Yes, I can do that. Violet's going to make the noise that should be actually playing right now. Can you minor illusion the bell noise for me?
Yeah.
Hold up, I need to open roll 20. Make sure I have that spell.
I could have sworn you said you had minor illusion.
Pretty sure I do. I don't have it open, so I need to check.
Notably, Avery, and this is particularly concerning with you.
Oh, no.
Violet's attempt at mentally messaging you is met with mental static.
Uh-oh, these things are not safe. This is not safe.
We should move on to another boat. Why are we still standing on?
No, what is what's going on with these boats? They're not allowed to be at the docks if they're like this. There's like rules and regulations of this base. Like there are, like it's run by the mafia. There's like severe rules on this stupid dock.
Mm-hmm.
A lich won't get messed with because it's a lich. You just don't mess with something bigger.
And a lich is more an occupation than a reflection of morality, to be fair.
Yes, I understand, but this is insanity. This is insanity. They should not be able to do this.
Which notably, when that static goes off, tentatively, as you make your way away from the boat, away from that sort of 10-foot range, that static dissipates. And again, these people seem perfectly sane once they get far enough away from the boat, but then come back to it all the same.
The boat is a creature, isn't it?
Roll me an insight or a nature check.
That is an 18 plus my nature, which is a 14 for Violet.
Well, I have a plus 11 in insight, so let's see what I roll. 14 plus 11 would be 25.
Between the both of you, noting how incredibly odd this whole situation is, you decide to take a better and more keen look at the boat, and your vision keeps getting pulled down below the hull further and further, until you notice that something of it isn't the shadows off of the boat and the ramshackle sails, nor the rippling of the waves, but you can see, and I'm going to pause the music here, tendrils attached toward the back of the hull, shifting and moving. Large and massive, like that of a gigantic squid. Or nautilus,
They have
far
rules against this, Joe.
beyond the size
A
of it as a
nautilus.
natural creature.
They have
Nautilus is
rules
a
against
normal
this, Joe.
natural creature. A nautiloid, however, would be the sky-faring variant of that.
It's a
Yes,
nautiloid.
we have rules against using creatures for ships.
There's rules against
I
this.
think
There's
these
like
guys are
there's
mind
like
flayers.
seven. There's like 7 pages of rules and regulations that I wrote out for this specific situation. Like,
Yep. Now, one thing as well, in kind of reaching that proximity, Avery, you are very familiar with the sort of mental frequency that comes from those kinds of hive minds. So is Angel. This speaks of none of that. This is a different frequency of detached, like a mental itch that almost has you wanting to step onto that boat and explore it almost. And you are just far enough away to not engage.
Joe, there are literal things that can kill this thing within location.
A number of things that are docked might be such things that could kill it.
I am going to. I'm going to look over at Avery. And she looks over at Avery. I want you to tell this to. She's going to actually talk this out to you. And she's going to take you. She's going to write it down so you can read it. And in the note is going to say, I need you to take this to the storm giant and then come back here. And I'm going to send you, she answered a second note, I need you to take this to the lich, that lady over there, and then come back here.
One of the ramshackle-looking Arakakra from up on deck jumps off the edge and then glides down to stand in front of the pair of you. Hello.
No.
Do we have a problem?
Do we?
No.
No.
Piper here?
Piper is here. Piper is present for this.
This Arakakra looks pale. The feathers look like they've been pulled out. Like, you know, when a bird gets overstressed and they start ripping out their own feathers. This is present on that Arakakra by a massive degree, and yet its eyes look jovial.
I just open my mithril box, put it on the ground, and toss in a shiny mithril coin I've made earlier in the week. I'm hoping the bird gets intrigued by the ooh, shiny.
One eye looks down toward the coin. The rest, the other eye, still looking at the pair of you. Trio, as a matter of fact.
I don't wanna be here anymore. Oh, the do-da-day.
Like, Avery, why don't you take 3 steps away from the ship?
He does.
The farther from the ship you step, the less that sort of static feeling impacts your brain.
She hands him the notes. I need you to go and deliver this. Because we may have just found she's going to swindle this. Piper knows this is just a swindle. And it's not the sound of her voice, it's just the air of like them knowing each other well enough.
I have 1,000 gold. I can start throwing gold coins in it.
We have just found our ship to take us to the Hag's Island. Maybe.
I know, but the poor bird's stressed. I need him to take a nap in the box.
Do we have a problem?
Just keeps tossing gold coins in the box.
That one eye that's still moving with the coins is going up and down as they get tossed and drop in.
Is it going to be one of those things where the bird brain takes over and goes, ooh, shiny?
Does Avery go and deliver these notes?
Yes, I was waiting for the chance to say that I do that.
Oh, easily enough.
So I'm going to let you know on those notes, going to say this above table. On the notes, in what is the most brief draconic, and if they're old enough, they would know what it reads, and they also put them in undercommon because it's hard to read undercommon, especially when you don't know how to write it very well.
Yeah.
So she's written in undercommon. There is a nautiloid next to you. It is a perfect moment for you to attack this thing because it's making these people insane. It's part of the rules and regulations. You can do something at the docks. That's part of that too. But the lich can swallow the soul of whatever this thing is.
Assuming it's a lich, I've expressed that it's an incredibly powerful ghost of some variety.
She's going to also message the storm giants with the same message. Because storm giants, she also knows storm giant language. So they're not going to be able to read that.
Yeah.
So, has the bird brain taken over yet?
You can see, even in the tension of the body, there's something there that wants to, desperately. But the body itself refuses.
Is there an open spot on the deck? Because there should be at least 10 to 12 spots per space.
Notably, each and every member of the crew on this ship never.
No, not on the ship's deck. On the
pier, on the dock, on the pier. Yeah, there's a decent bit of space here.
Is there an empty one?
There are a couple of empty ones. Again, this is only 5 ships that are currently docked here. This dock has a capacity for about 10 ships. Now, they are kind of spread out between either side to account for the different sizes of vessel. But there are 10 docking positions just from this pier alone. There are other piers as well, given just how much of a, heavy trade and entertainment hub that Lulu is.
I'm going to barter with these.
There are also, I think, a little farther down kind of the dock line. There are other ships, just these were the 5 that mentioned that they were willing to be hired on, just from Vinistra's initial scouting.
I get that, but she's, for the Storm Giants, that she's going to, in her note, the thing that she is bartering is a secondary trip to the Abyss. To get another boat of large enough size has been left there in the Abyss. And have it cleaned off for them. Because going beneath the waves may have tainted it over time.
Give me a persuasion check as Violet.
Okay, Violet. That's not bad. An 18 plus, for Violet, that's 12.
30.
30.
Excuse me
It's
while
an
I
option.
reset some of my spells, because apparently it decided to give me the send spell when I did not put the send spell. The fuck you mean?
We can't be within 10 feet of this place. It's like literally you have to get away from it in order for you to be able to do things.
Yes, Avery.
When I'm delivering these notes, can I make a persuasion roll for delivering these notes to,
For urgency? Yeah, you can
urgency
by all means.
Or allure, or
I'd say persuasion or
something.
intimidation are viable for urgency.
I'm also going to turn off my camera for just a minute.
He's much better at persuasion. He has a plus 22 in persuasion.
Oh my neck!
13, so that would make it 30.
35?
5. Yep.
Why do I have sending? Why did it?
The guards mobilize with this notice immediately, not only because, sanity check, but also because likely magically induced instability, and insanity. Whereas even just from the records of crewmates from that very ship making their way into town, they seem fine. They seem normal, and they seem polite and refined, even if a little, just worn out from sea travel. But this seems concerning enough. A number of the guard mobilize, and a number of them definitely a little bit better armed than guards would be. Even among them, a contingent of casters in particular joining in among the grouping. And as far as the notes and persuasions toward, in particular, the crew of Fildo's Screen for Giants potentially to assist in this, as well as potentially Pioneer. Pioneer doesn't seem to even notice these guys. Fildo's Scream, though, they do at least ready themselves to intervene should it become necessary.
Give me.
Oh, it's gonna be necessary. Violet's stuck.
Give me that spell.
Notably, on kind of either side of the pier where these ships kind of get boxed in, you can see a number of the casters, in particular among this guard, beginning to lay down large pieces of amber in kind of a radius and eventually a perimeter around this ship, beginning to chant and beginning to get ready for containment. As that may be the quickest means of addressing something this
Size. Yes.
strange, this size, and this potentially volatile.
I
Now,
know.
with that particularly good roll for urgency, that will give them advantage for, let's just say, urgent use of this spellcasting, and disadvantage for the crew and the ship of the Kraken to be able to react to it in time. Okay. So, I'm going to be blunt here, not including the modifiers. With advantage, the guardsman's roll before modifiers was a 5. With disadvantage, the Kraken and crew in kind's roll before modifiers was a 3.
God, so cool.
2 incredibly shitty rolls on both sides. With modifiers and additional modifiers that were granted for the urgency, mind you.
Ah, shit.
The guardsmen win this out, even despite their shitty roll.
Who?
The guards and guardsmen of Lilu. As suddenly,
Oh,
the crew and ship, all in kind, get consolidated into a large piece of amber about the size of a shoebox that steadily turns a shade of red, where in this moment where they get consolidated, the first thing to get pulled away magically into the amber gemstones are the crew members. The second, the baseline of the ship, as it gets pulled away, where you can see it's a facade around the creature beneath, which is the third thing to get pulled away. Notably, this isn't a nautiloid beast, but perhaps one particularly literal reason for the namesake of the ship. As you can see, a mutated and partially undead adolescent Kraken being pulled the rest of the way into the gemstones.
It was a literal Kraken.
Can I? She looks like, can I have that? By any chance?
No.
Why not?
That was quick.
Policy and safety.
Real quick, is the Aarakocra still on the dock with us? The pier?
It's the only one that didn't get in there.
I'm gonna roll see if the Aarakocra got far enough away to not be pulled in.
He was at least 10 feet away.
Because I was going to use guess on him.
Okay. As the ship and the Kraken get pulled away by a total of 2 above what was needed, the Aarakocra was just far enough away
Heart rate takeover.
Where now you see suddenly this sort of glazed, tired, maddened eyes, and the one that wouldn't move, suddenly both eyes move down, and they come back with a level of clarity. And with that as well, you notice also the patches of missing feathers. Some spots along them start to now bleed.
Please tell me he goes in the box. Because, oh my god, shiny gold coins.
Oh, that's not right. Less goes into the box deliberately and more collapses into it as that blood pours freely, and a trail of it is left behind as that Aarakocra turns into Mithril.
After I shut and lock it because, sir, you're not lying on me.
We're gonna go ahead and switch the music back to the decidedly more adventurous and cheerful coastal music.
She looks at. Question, sir. Before you decide to take that way out of policy, can we speak in private, please?
Not with the gem. He hands it off to another guard as they go ahead and make their way. We can speak.
If I speak with your higher-ups, can I barter for the Kraken?
I doubt it.
For policy and safety of the entirety of the ring.
We take
Can I
matters of that
barter?
particularly seriously.
Oh, can we take this particularly seriously? Can I barter for the Kraken?
Right now, what you're bartering for is the chance for me to put in a word for you to even try.
I'd like it. Like today. Like now.
Make a
Because
persuasion check.
I walk next
That's-
to her and say, "Pretty please."
I have
Pretty please.
Piper just flings an electron.
We'll call that a help action and say advantage.
Hold on.
With advantage?
Vinestra
Piper-
said. V just stands behind Violet.
Piper is also going to flip an electrum. It's my only Velux electrum to Violet as a sort of bribe.
We'll add a +2 to that. Sure.
And my 29 persuasion, please. It just affords her advantage.
I mean, if you're rolling by yourself, then it basically will go on an average between the pair here. So,
I think that.
And I,
better.
yes. Yeah, no, I got a 19 plus the rating is full 14. 14.
okay.
Might be higher than that.
So that's 33
very
and
much what you do.
30? Right?
It was 29 total. I rolled a 7, but
Okay,
I get plus
33 and 29. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, but then we got a +2 for everybody else.
Yeah.
We'll call that
Yeah,
a +2 just in addition to the average. So we'll call that a 34 and a 30. Averaging that out to a 32.
Cool.
Don't
Yeah,
forget.
that's fine. It's still a high roll.
I flipped an electrum for bribes.
That's the
Which was the +2, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's because, again, that's how the stacking advantage deal works. So, with the 32 average, I'll see if I can grease the wheels. Particularly with capital incentive.
Like, I know where I'd drop it.
Understood. Now understand that kind of conversation, given especially what was just extracted, may take a number of hours. You may expect an answer properly this dusk.
We can't wait till dusk. We have people that are trying to get us to go on a hag thing at dusk. If you could take us right now, I don't mind talking.
Given the money you've
Okay.
provided me, I might be able to expedite it.
Hold on. Piper is going to pull out the insignia we got from being deputized by Angel.
Yeah.
Show it to the man and go, this should be your top priority.
Okay, let's call it mid-afternoon. In the meantime,
Thank
do enjoy Viserys Bar and Grill. It's a wagon restaurant that came over here about a couple of weeks back.
Viserys Bar and Grill?
Yes, they carry a lot of yakitori from Karia. Marinated meat on a stick.
Was he not just in Kirin a few weeks ago?
Yes, he was. But remember, they're all moving to one location. They're getting ready for the war.
There's also a suggestion that, maybe more than one NPC has the same name. Just like you may encounter a couple of gyms.
Yes, but all of the humans are moving to one location.
True.
She's gonna go.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, she's gonna follow Piper. We're gonna get Piper.
Now, there remains one final ship that you have not addressed.
She's gonna go.
The tiny
I'm
beetle.
letting you know. She's gonna walk up to the gnome ship. This is Violet walking up to the gnome ship.
You're not even looking at the beetle?
That is the tiny beetle, is the gnome ship.
Oh, okay. Piper is going to take her new Aarakocra statue to whatever is the medical area of this place because we need to save this man's life.
There's a number.
There's
This
a
place
medic-
hosts a fucking fighting ring.
The one that Piper
There-
would probably go to because it's actually up to her snuff.
It would be in the fighting ring itself, considering that's the main local regiment. There's a hospital nearby.
Yeah, and you have access to it easy enough given your entry point from Blue's teleportation circle. So the staff in there particularly already know you guys at this point. So,
Just because Blue makes her money here.
yeah.
Blue makes her money.
So
Years with the
far,
Guardians.
it seems like there are 3 viable options. One out of morbid curiosity. You guys are settled on the Osprey, the Fildo's Scream, or possibly the Pioneer if you're fine with tenting your way across the sea.
No.
We might give her something though, so she can actually keep going further. So she's gonna walk over to this little rock gnome thing. Violet's like, "This is the last ship."
Hill
So
gnomes,
my
not rock
curiosity
gnomes.
is,
There is a difference.
why are you in this area? Like, there's a hole.
As you
Oh my
ring their
God.
bell and briefly turning into what looks to be a gnome-sized owl bear before jumping off of the ship and landing back in little hill gnomish form back on the wood to answer the bell. Looks to be someone who looks to be very much the part of almost what would happen if you decided to make a pirate into a druid. It's a lot of, normal sort of pirate attire covered in mosses and earthenware and all that kind of stuff.
Well, hello. How can I help you? How you doing?
I don't think you're gonna be equipped to fight a fire hag.
Vinestra said, "Is the druid captain the parrot?"
Noting the parrot on this particular gnome's shoulder that was even on the shoulder of the owlbear that it briefly turned into. Maybe.
Just looked over it.
Not ready to fight a fire hag. Well, that's funny. That's real funny, We fought quite a lot of things down here out on this sea. You assuming we're unprepared? Is that just because of our size?
Yeah. Partially, yes.
Well, that's a little mightily judgmental, don't you know? There's
No, it's not judgmental.
this
It's just
warlord
why
out in
would
the
I do
Underdark
that?
that's a gnome herself, Size don't mean shit.
Yeah, you tell him.
Who the fuck was that?
Never mind, go fuck yourself. I kid. We want to be friends. We want to be friends.
Okay, so you say that, and I was about to rip your asshole out and make it into a nice necktie for you.
No, that's her job. Aiko.
Aiko kisses your forehead.
Yeah, I'll rip your asshole out later.
So, are you inspired by this small gnome? And that is why you've taken to the sea?
Oh no, we've been at sea for decades. Gnomes live for a good while, you know.
Yes, I do know that.
But it is a little bit of a heartening bit of motivation. Particularly for trying to see fair in the Underdark. It's a little hard to get down there, but luckily our ship's small enough to go ahead and make the transport viable. We found some interesting things when going down those waters.
Like what?
Well, you know, not all of them, their Velik's ruins and things, all stayed, you know, kind of above the wet. Some of them sunk down, and a lot of those were particularly useful to go ahead and sell as research materials to the continents of Gethoven and some wandering skags and what have you.
Did you sell to Shihu?
Oh, certainly not.
'Cause
That's
she
an
sure
ongoing
spent-
war situation and a lot of slavers and what have you. We tend to make our distance from that kind of thing.
I think you should stay far away from them because they're where the Veliks are.
We have no intention of getting close to that, really. Not to mention it's a bit of a landlocked situation unless we wanted to go sailing in the swamps, and we really don't want to do that. It's kind of nasty work. They say that despite their boat being caked in mud.
Do you by any chance think that you could take another trip down there and bring us back some more from there?
Oh, are we talking kind of commission work here? Because we can totally kind of maybe do that. No guarantee, though. We did lose a little bit of a number last time we encountered a small little mind flayer settlement down there. It was mighty unfortunate.
There's a mind flayer settlement down there.
Not anymore.
Resourceful.
Just tiny and real easy to piss off, ma'am.
What if I told you that you would be working for the gnome that you're speaking about?
Well, now that would be a right heartwarming story, wouldn't it?
She's gonna pull out her Fae phone.
Of course, by the nature of our business, we only do temporary contracts. We won't necessarily be fully faction bound and all that. We do kind of find ourselves to be a little bit of a mud-caked band of mercenaries.
Oh, she'll make it worth your while.
We like to spread the love and spread the coin, you know?
She takes out her Fae phone. Hold on, sir. You will just a minute.
Sir! Do I have too much mud on my face to hide my effeminate features? Oh, wait. Yeah, no, sorry. This is a particularly big dirt clump on my belly. It's kind of hiding my bust. Pulls it off.
Oh my god. Oh my god. At this point, she's calling Angel, and Angel's like, what? I'm in the middle of something, and there's Nicodemus and her upside down. I'm in the middle. Okay. Nick, I need to get down, please.
It's called being in the middle of someone, love. Give me a sec.
Oh.
And there's a cutting sound as rope is severed.
There's like the sound of like the floating cloth as she basically pulls a robe on. How may I help you? This lovely lady might be able to go into a Velik's ruin and get some intel.
Might be. We've been doing that on regular. Well, not the regular. We've done it once or twice, but we know how to do it.
If I paid you handsomely.
How handsomely we talking, and also which ruin, because we can do the Underdark stuff. Getting in the middle of war zones is kind of a no-go. We don't get that big and that loud. We like subtlety.
If you could find me an entrance underneath in the water area for the war zone, I would be most grateful. But if you cannot, just their old ruins and how they used to work, and giving me full visual of how you get down there.
I mean, we really don't do research and expertise on how it all works as much as we do navigation, but we can, at the very minimum, assuming things go particularly poorly, we can map out a route for you to go ahead and venture yourself.
Okay. She's like, Hands the phone over to this. She looks over at Violet. She's like, hand the phone over. Ma'am, I'm going to level with you. This ring is in danger of being taken over by the Velix for a second time.
See, that's mighty unfortunate, and it would massively impede business. I'm Captain Aramila, at your service. Well, second Captain Aramila. First captain's on my shoulder.
I am Warlord Tsubasa, and
Sorry.
I am a leader for the Underdark, and this is my paramour. She looks over at Nicodemus, who's getting his pants on. And currently, we are at war with Jihu. The slavers are eating changelings specifically, so any type of changeling that you find and you bring to me, I will pay you handsomely.
Well, that's unfortunate, but we can absolutely do the interpersonal smuggling business, and unless, of course, it does involve a slave trade. We don't do coin exchanges for people, no ma'am.
It's for rescue, not slavery.
Understood, and based off most of our knowledge of your reputation, we have no reason to doubt that. That said, should you find that in doubt with us, then of course you will find yourself an enemy of the tiny beetle.
I don't think it wouldn't have any problem. But let me put it to you this way. I will pay you not only your weight.
I don't weigh that much, ma'am.
I will not only pay you your weight in either... You know what? Look at this. I will pay you your weight in whatever stone you see.
That seems viable. Now, that said, of course, in a starting mercenarial relationship, of course, while we can take forward payments assuming the contracts seem good under the same plan, if we're starting out, and we are in fact starting out with you, we will need some upfront payment first in the event that things go south and we may find a need to extract ourselves at not total losses.
Violet, hand him the electrum. Violet, as one of her envoys, basically pulls out one electrum, Velix electrum, and puts it in front of them.
Mind if I double check and see if that thing there is actually legit?
It's perfectly fine with me.
Fantastic.
She picks it up, reaches down into her bag, pulls out a jar, which seemingly has a mind flayer tadpole in it. She uncorks the jar just barely, drops the coin in there. It freaking curls around the coin and starts tightening around it until the damn thing pops.
It's legit. Cool. All right, that'll do. Found one of these things down there in one of them there seafaring ruins, and actually if you introduce a little known sort of actually surface toxin that grows real well in the sun into these things, they'll actually get real, almost I dare say sexually attracted to their coinage, and they'll try to wrap around and fuck it at their size, but unfortunately that don't work, so they just keep tightening around it like a dangerous and oily snake until they basically rip themselves apart.
Oh my god. She pulls out that worm, that stone worm. I need you to tell me if you see any of these.
What the fuck is that?
This is a bigger version of that.
Well. Got another one of them there coins?
I do, actually. She looks over at, in my hand, by any chance? Is she asking about Angel having one on her side in her hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, she pulls one out of her side table.
All right. So fantastic. Is that thing alive, technically?
I think so, but they're stone.
Okay. Well, assuming it's a similar makeup, what you're going to want to go ahead and need is you're going to want some Corona sun bloom, right? You're going to go ahead and you're going to find some of that stuff down in Sunsmith, usually down by the eastern coast, just barely shy and south of what's the fancy place's name?
Samaral?
That's the one, Samaral. So that's where you're going to find that. You're going to want to go ahead and break that down into a poultice. You're going to want to mix some straight up highly refined either rubbing alcohol or grain alcohol. Everclear's a close second. Now, mix that up real fine, real easy, real tight. Introduce a little bit of mithril dust if you can find it. That'll create a nice little spray poultice. It's real great for actually growing some nice and pretty, dare I say, metallically luminescent flowers. It also creates this near hormonal horniness powder for those fucking nasty things.
And what do you know? She's sharing this entire thing with Griffin, knowing that Griffin will run across the house sharing this mental note with her.
Yep. Of course, I could. I do have like half a vial left. I don't know if it's enough for that kind of size, but I can send it off with one of your friends here, and then maybe that'll be enough to go ahead and get it working on that thing.
Does Griffin run in asking what the exact measurements were?
What are the measurements?
You know, honestly, I never quite got it myself. Basically, what I did was I had kind of the jar like halfway open in a couple of breathing holes, and I just kept adding stuff to the mix until it started smacking itself against the jar. You know, alchemizing by feel.
Use the electrum, and they eat the electrum. They try to do to this thing to the electrum, and then she hands him the electrum and hands him the worm.
They turn into hookers, you know, fucking for money.
Tell me if it works. I need to know if it works. He hands him the giant worm.
Understood. I gotta go collect some ingredients, I guess.
What do you need for that? They found another Velix, like a Velix that was still alive down there. Under the water.
Come again?
Well, it's not alive no more. To be fair, it wasn't under the water per se. But there was a settlement kind of like on a little outcropping island trying to keep unto themselves, kind of trying to, you know, be problems as they normally is and are. And, well, we made sure their problem was not a problem no more.
Looks over Griffin. We can find out how they use the islands.
Yeah, sounds like a thing to look into.
I will pay you your weight in whatever gemstone that you want. If you give me that information.
Sounds viable. All right. So I got get my third mate on that, and I can get them to report your way, or at least consolidate what they got together, make a copy for you. Now that'll take all of about 45 minutes if y'all got some time to wait around.
I have a one better. She's going to whistle to one of her lieutenants.
Of course, I could also send my boatswain on it because they ain't been doing their job, if you can't tell by what's kind of shape the boat's in. But that's fine. It's got character.
I will outfit your boat.
Oh, no. We like her how she is.
She looks over at, she's whistling for one of her lieutenants, the gnomish lieutenants that she has.
Mm-hmm.
The Mochizuki versions,
yeah.
Basically. I am going to push you through this phone. It is going to feel uncomfortable, but you are going to go with these gnomes, and you are going to report back to Violet when you get back.
What?
She pushes the gnome through the Fae phone.
Oh, that one. All right, sure. Hello. How are you?
Well, look at you, dark-skinned and pretty. Now, what you got for me?
Just waiting for that report to be given.
Well, I can do that. Now, that said, it'll still take 45 minutes. I could take you to the captain's quarters and go ahead and take up some of that time. Hope you don't mind getting dirty. We are, all of us, covered in dirt.
That's incredibly and insanely forward of you.
Sorry, we've been at sea for a minute.
This is one of my lieutenants. He will follow your orders. Do not stray, and you are stronger than them, so I expect a good report.
Oh, he'll follow my orders, will he?
Within reason.
Within reason. Is it within reason to insist he meet me in my quarters?
That's up to him, not up to me, and you'd have to ask his wife on that one.
Oh. My apologies.
Trust me, there's more where that came from.
Well understood.
I can't wait to meet you in the Underdark itself.
Notably, the parrot on her shoulder cocks its head, staring at that man's ass.
Like, okay, hand the phone back to Violet. Violet, I'm going to be busy for the next 2 hours. Can we not have a Fae phone call for the next 2 hours? Fine. I will withstand while we're doing that. Hey, Brewster! As we go to the Cadia people, because Violet's gonna go get food from the Cadia people.
All right. Amber is briefly indisposed. Amber's back.
Here. I've been here.
You were muted, and out of you, I didn't know.
Okay, so there's a chair right there I've been using to, like, put some good pressure on the back of my neck because it hurts.
Gotcha. All right. So no discussion necessarily about potentially commissioning the tiny beetle for your voyage, but commissioning it for alternate purposes, which means that leaves the Osprey, the Fildo's Scream, and potentially Pioneer as options for the voyage. Though the one with the most unanswered questions is Pioneer.
I don't know about the other ships. I know a little of Pioneer, and Piper is currently finding the infirmary.
Gotcha. Well, you are able to find it easily enough to bring that Aarakocra to, and to go ahead and basically sum up both of them real quick for you, since I believe you weren't present for those two. The Osprey is manned entirely by a priesthood of Merphis. It is a reinforced longship.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be willing to sacrifice some of their quarters and bunk up with each other to allow you guys lodging, given that it's part of their tenant of hermitage, basically to have a room unto themselves usually, but it can be sacrificed in the name of transporting others. Now, that also answers kind of how they're defended, as the only sort of defensible nature of the ship is the reinforced nature on it, and it does not have a single presence of weaponry, but it seems like their priesthood might be at least of a collection of more powerful and magically capable clerics. Now, the other one in the Fildo's Scream is a sleek, rather markedly tall boat manned by storm giants. To which the captain that was addressed mentioned that as far as lodging for you guys, he could probably convince one of his crew members named Shagra to go ahead and properly outfit her dollhouse for the lot of you, which, given it's a storm giant, is most likely just a straight up house on the ship with normal ass furniture. So it's a possibility. Now, with that as well, its defensibility is in the fact that it's manned by fucking storm giants.
I'm leaning towards that one, though, but also at the same time, what if the hag is displeased by the presence of storm giants?
Who knows? And then finally, there's the Pioneer, which after a decent bit of personal exploring, it's a very heavily ribboned and very heavily, almost prissly and princessly decorated outrigger, and outriggers are normally like they're oversized rafts meant usually for the express purpose of transporting people over short distances and gentle currents like rivers and things, kind of like a ferry, right?
Hmm.
This one is at an ocean dock. It is manned entirely by one person who was discovered to be some variety of incredibly powerful ghost. That said, also in that every sort of kind of split line in each piece of wood across this, while subtly looking like it's scratched, is actually completely covered in arcane rune work. But has expressed she's not opposed to transporting you lot, wheresoever that should be. Any further details of that was not necessarily discussed beyond what's your deal and finding out.
I would think the storm.
And it was not for the lady of Pioneer not wanting to discuss it, it just wasn't brought up.
Might go back and question her a little bit, but still, brain is kind of leaning towards,
Yeah, which leaves the Fildo's Scream manned by the Storm Giants or the Osprey manned by the Merphis Priests. That said, in any case, with most of these, there's a decent bit of time before they set off, which leaves you guys some time to mingle and maybe even buy more supplies or, buy tents and shit in case you wanted to go with Pioneer as the option. In all cases, though, it seems like a lot of the intention for setting off based on what's going on now is very much based around where the tide's at. Hence why for the most part, it's the afternoon for most of these ships and straight up dusk for the Fildo's Scream, given that apparently it goes particularly deep below the waves as well.
That'd probably be something Piper would discuss with the rest of the party after she got back.
Yeah. So that's giving you all the context for the ships you missed, as well as refreshing everybody for the context on what is available to go ahead and think through that as well. Now, you make your way to the infirmary.
Mm-hmm.
Easy enough. I'm assuming you unpetrify the Arakakra.
Yes, I feel better about him bleeding out if he's in a medical facility.
Fair enough. Now, in a properly sterilized facility and everything else, I'm assuming you immediately get to work on his wounds, so go ahead and roll me a medicine check. It will be with advantage given the materials you have presently at your disposal in their organized fashion. Not the way you'd organize it, being a fae, but humans and like creatures have their own structure, which infuriatingly has sensibility and method to that madness.
But mine also has a method. Oh, God.
True.
Where's my die?
Notably, at least for whoever's manning this infirmary at the moment, their method is it being alphabetized.
No. 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 Absolutely not. You do it by procedure. Okay, 17 plus, give me a second.
Your DC is also significantly lowered in this environment since you're not doing field dressing.
17 plus 22 because my neck is dying.
And Megan will be back. She posted a BRB.
Oh. Yeah, 17 plus 22.
17 plus 22. Fucking fantastic with a 39. Yeah. Easy enough to bandage, patch up, and stitch all of these wounds. You are finding kind of one after the other latent, unaddressed infections that were seemingly held at bay. This man seems like with each and every injury, it would have been like, had these been allowed to fester in any way, they would have brought him to death's door. But it seems like even as each of these, a lot of them seem older than others. None of them seem to have, beyond like the scab forming being the only thing that really indicates their age, none of them seem to have progressed beyond the day of their being granted. which seems to have been, at least in part, some magical benefit of whatever the fuck that ship was.
All right, I guess we're gonna have to test his mental faculties after we're done with that part.
Yeah.
Also ask him, what the fuck is up with the Kraken? Excuse me as I lay down because ow my neck.
Would have been some interesting exploration had you guys chosen that route.
We're going to later when we get the amber.
In terms of the styling of that crew, that was quote-unquote brave ramshackle pirates. And then a few other things that I chose to expand upon. But eventually you get this Aarakocra stabilized, put together, and you notice these pallid feathers are loose. A lot of them are coming out as you're kind of addressing the injuries. Worse than trying to like pluck an already dead, chicken for food and feeding. This is, the more and more you progress, the more and more you realize even this Aarakocra's health was being held together with effectively duct tape and prayers in the same way that the ship was and all of their clothes, which makes you wonder, at least insofar as that ship being sealed in amber, how much does that also reflect the state of the other crew members, let alone the captain, who had several replacement teeth in his mouth, including slowly weathering and patinaed fucking copper teeth?
Oh no, I have to fix those. Piper is slowly realizing, oh no, when we get the amber, I have to fix the crew.
It was, that entire ship very much seemed like the vibe of like the junkyard ship of Theseus. Even all the way down to the people that manned it.
So yeah, Piper is gonna, once this guy is in a talking form, I guess ask him questions about the ship of Theseus, also known as the Kraken.
And eventually, after, given your particular skill set, a good few minutes of intensive care, eventually there's a state of semi-lucid consciousness that this bird reaches, with admittedly their tongue somewhat numbed just from the drugs you had to put in their body to address their injuries.
So, what is this? What the fuck? Hello?
Hello? How are you feeling?
I think you know how I'm feeling.
I can't read your mind, I just know that you needed fixing.
Like I should have died however many times over. At least 11.
Well, stick with me and you won't.
As he forces himself to sit up, even beyond your observation of like what would be a physical recommendation of don't do that, he sits up, and very much like also a sick toucan in a way. Like there are parts of the beak that are flaking off now too, but that for the most part has been medically addressed. This is just a sickened body finally able to express the fact that it is sickened.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Don't get up. Just gently laying back down.
I'll lay down when I'm dead.
No, don't make me paralyze you. Temporarily, medically.
I won't make you roll a persuasion check as part of the body is giving into a point where the muscles are not loose enough to allow him to sit back up beyond his first attempt.
So what's your name, Polly? Swear to God, if he says Pally, I'm gonna laugh.
Phaedrus.
All right. You know where you are.
Just call me Drissa. We're on Lilu.
Yes, Lilu. So what was with your ship and all that weirdness?
That diseased thing. We were, all of us, castaways. Much farther from here than the Togolan Islands. We kept wanting to try and leave. We kept fighting to try to. We had to put together a ship from the broken ships that each of us came from. But nothing could make it float. Our island started moving though. And it started eating a kraken. That kraken spat out spawn that was half dead itself. And it latched in desperate animal fear to what was the starting of our ship. And we took that as reason to leave. That kraken didn't live, though. Something of the island we left was left in it. And it made it continue trying to get further away. Just like we did. But it still had part of the island. Which means we did too.
Well, right now it's in a piece of amber. That's probably why you're freed from it right now. We're also currently trying to get the whole ship back as well that's encased in amber. So we could probably free your crew, figure out what's wrong with the vessel, and maybe fix it for you, so you guys don't have to deal with that anymore.
The little kraken is what's wrong with it.
Repeat that.
The little kraken's what's wrong with it, but it was as much a runaway as we were. That's why we kept coming back.
Hyper's gonna pull up her blood map and just go to the page where the area is of what he's speaking about, and just shows it to him. Can you point to me where on here we're at?
It's not on a map. Dragon turtles never are.
Oh.
The only reason that one, I suspect, didn't disappear like the rest was because it was dead.
Ooh. Can I roll to see if I wouldn't know whether or not our nice dragon turtle that's on our beach in Kiadine is this one?
That's not really a roll as much as that's a theory based on circumstantial evidence at this point. The only thing that I think would allow you to roll would be having actual visual on the dragon turtle he's describing and making the comparison. Unless there were any particular features you'd like to mention and question.
Was there a tower on this turtle?
Never one we could get into.
Piper's gonna quickly draw out the dragon turtle that's on our beach and get in and show it to him. I'm guessing I have to roll what do I roll for this?
Dexterity or charisma. I'd say sleight of hand or performance, actually, for an artistic rendering.
Okay, I'm gonna do sleight of hand and my proficiency because I've been doing this for about 3 centuries.
If you have proficiency with painter's tools, then that would also be just charisma or dexterity with proficiency.
18 plus 8 plus 5.
Yeah. 31. Yeah, that's it. That's why we were stranded.
So we have it in Kirin, in a stasis bubble.
I suggest you keep it there.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Is there any other, like, medics, clerics, people of that like in the area?
Yeah, given that a patient was dropped off in here, there are other healers and things that have come in just to check in on what the fuck and offer, even without asking, help to this person just as part of their job.
It wasn't
they
dropped them off. I said, hey, I'm borrowing your infirmary.
Yeah, they don't seem to give a shit about, like, someone claiming a patient. They're just like, there's someone that needs help, so we're gonna help them regardless of any dumbass ego that tries to say otherwise.
Nice. I'm going to flag down one of the closest one.
To which this one actually appears to be a kobold in what appears to be these sort of loose cotton, almost like nurse-like vestments. Hello?
Hi, so, could you keep an eye on this one for me? I will be back soon.
Yes.
Because I need to go see my group real quick.
Okay.
And if he somehow miraculously gets 100% better before I come back, what would the place be called that they would know who Piper is and be like, oh yeah, I know this guy, or girl will just help this guy. Dang, I'm trying to get it to where he can get sent back to, PD.
Enough people are familiar with you guys from just even the fighting ring, let alone your association with Blue, that they know you. And they also know your vibe. So in terms of just sending off a message to another member of staff to go ahead and get this guy relocated, it's also easy enough to do. Now, from here, given the pull that you guys have, most likely will be magically sent. Might not be magically sent, depending on the severity of his injuries, and might instead be sailed there.
No, I wasn't going to have him send it. When he gets better, say for some reason he gets better before I get back.
Right.
Just, yeah. And it would be better enough to get it there magically because no boats. No boats right now. This man needs to not be on a boat for a minute. So, and then I'm going to go rejoin back up with the party to make sure, we figure out who we're going to hire.
All right. Meeting back up with the group easily enough.
So you guys, so you know that Kraken ship, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, the whole crew and the Kraken itself we're all castaways on a undead dragon turtle that had a tower on it. Sounds familiar, right? Yeah, we have the place where they were cast away at. Get in a bubble. Small world.
Huh.
Yeah, literally. Used to be a lot bigger, and then humans fucked around with technology.
And magic. So, also, I'm gonna explain, like, the whole health issue thing. So, if we're going to have to slowly get the crew members out one by one so I can get them all up to snuff before we can even deal with the Kraken thing. And then get the crew as far away from the Kraken thing as mortally possible.
Which again, even as the Urakakra suggested, the Kraken itself was also a victim in this situation. But
yes, but I'm
ended
pretty
up still a carrier of that larger disease is the wrong word for it, but influence,
essence influence. Which is why Piper's like, we're gonna have to make sure the crew is away from that first.
Which is not to say that a Kraken can necessarily be, a good-natured thing, but that thing was young enough that it was impressionable enough to be like, these guys are trying to get out of here, I might as well fucking go too. And this, what's left of this ship looks like a big shell of armor.
Yeah, so we'll handle the... we'll have to handle the crew, get them away as mortally possible before we can fix the Kraken. And we'll have to do it one crew member at a time because how long did this take for Piper to do?
I'd say all of this, between kind of addressing the different crews that you have and attending to the medical shit, all of that together has been roughly an hour worth of time.
Okay, so.
And at the moment, it's maybe early afternoon.
Yeah, so it took me about an hour to deal with this man, so I will need to do each crew member individually, because if they were in as bad a shape as he was, that's gonna be fun. Apparently, whatever happened to them, say they got, I don't know, sliced up a bit.
That is a somewhat large vessel, so as far as the quantity of that crew, that's a couple dozen people at least.
Yes. It's going to be one of those things we're going to have to do shifts. Anyway.
Vinestra said, my apologies had to be RB.
It's all
What
good.
is happening and have we decided upon a ship?
We haven't decided upon a ship. Piper just got back from taking care of the Aarakocra and has informed y'all that that Kraken ship thing, all of those crew members were actually castaways on top of an undead dragon turtle that has a tower on it. Essentially the one that we have in a stasis bubble and kidding on the beach.
That thing is beached as and dead.
Yes.
Yep.
But yes, so
that undead dragon turtle attacked a kraken, which also in turn tried to spit out its offspring while being attacked. Given its inability to get away,
they use partially.
Yeah, that offspring was also still partially hurt. Tried to get away in what was basically what they could put together of a ramshackle ship from all the pieces they could put together to basically allow it to propel, and also along with the rest of those people try and get the fuck away. And it grew older, got to adolescence, but eventually succumbed to its injuries. Because, I mean, it's a kraken, it was using the what was left of the ship as basically an armored shell, and it's not like it was going to be trusting or conscious enough to try and let anybody tend to its injuries. So eventually it's still carrying some of the essence from that turtle and everything else.
It kind of
By and large,
kept coming
corrupted the rest of the ship, as it also let go of its own life and became undead.
So, and Piper said that once we get the ship out of the amber, or once we get the amber that holds the ship and the crew, she's essentially saying they're going to have to take each crew member out one by one, because if they were all in as bad of a shape as the Arakakra, which that took her an hour to deal with.
Well, less than that technically. It was an hour combined with addressing that crew member and also all the prior discussions with the other ships thus far.
Oh, okay. I was meaning just how long, because I left before they went and talked to the beetles, so
Gotcha.
whatever that amount of time would have been.
Okay. Yeah, that was all in all maybe half an hour of really intensive rapid care on someone who basically had a shitload of different infections held at bay magically before having to deal with them.
Yeah. So either way, it's still going to be one of those things because the crew is so big. It's going to take a while, and then we will have to take all of the crew members as humanly or mortally possible away from the Kraken before we even address the poor Kraken. That way it doesn't influence that crew again.
Yeah.
So but give me a second, I gotta pee.
All good. Actually, as a matter of fact, given the current considerations with the different boats at the moment, I'd say for right now, also just given what time it is, let's call it here for a BRB to go ahead and let people refresh themselves, hydrate, do what you got to do, and then we'll get right back into the swing of it.
Vinestra said, "I'm on Team Storm giant boat."
Yeah.
I apologize. I know I'm not paying a lot of attention. I keep trying to pull myself back in, but my mind keeps wandering to chairs as my butt hurts in the one I'm currently sitting in.
It's all good, man. We'll get into it here in a bit. So, we're going to go ahead and hit BRB. For those that are watching, I hope y'all are entertained.